We are back now with Emerson Lyons, and she's joining us, and she is the 2025 Louisiana Cattlemen's Association Queen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
You betcha. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's start with the Louisiana Cattlemen's Association. What is it?
Yeah, so the Louisiana Cattlemen's Association is an association that's geared towards advocating and working for the beef producers of Louisiana. We work towards advocacy, going to the Capitol, talking about bills, sitting in sessions, helping out our farmers when there's a disaster. We have relief funds, and we also pride ourselves in educating consumers and our youth.
Absolutely. And, we were talking before we came back on air. May is National Beef Month.
Yes.
So kind of tell me what that entails, what that means.
Yeah, so National Beef Month is a month that we take as producers and as consumers to celebrate our hardworking farmers and ranchers that provide more than 28 billion pounds of beef to our consumers each year in the United States. In the United States, the beef cattle industry makes up about 30% of farmers and ranchers. So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have, the #1 animal protein in the United States. So the beef industry provides jobs and education and just so much for not only rural America, but for America as a whole.
Right, absolutely. And so on a personal level, kind of tell me about your road to becoming queen and how all this started and just kind of how you got here.
Yeah, so my family has a 60-year-long tradition of showing livestock and just being involved in agriculture. I grew up on a dairy farm that turned into a diversified livestock operation, and I showed livestock growing up, but mainly why I wanted to become queen was just, it was a platform to advocate. I was a state officer for Louisiana FFA, so I did all the great things to advocate while I was in high school, but looking at it from a college standpoint and a secondary education level, I wanted a platform to find something to advocate towards or for.
Gotcha, absolutely. And so when you're going around, kind of what's your message to students?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, our motto and our goal this year that our president, Mr. Jarrett Daigle, has is investing in our youth, because we aren't the industry without our next generation. So our big focus this year is talking to our youth and educating them on where does beef come from? How do you advocate for beef? How do you share your story of just showing livestock from your family's ranch? So that's what we've been doing this past year, and that's how I advocate towards our youth.
Got you. And as queen, kind of talk about, your daily routine, your activities, and specifically your responsibilities as the queen.
Yeah, so I actually just graduated from McNeese State University, so I've been pretty busy with my duties since January and just trying to balance school and life and jobs. But on a normal month, we'll travel, and this past month we've been at the Capitol a lot. Legislative session just started, so at the beginning of the May, we were hit the ground running, being at the Capitol, listening to bills, advocating for our cattlemen, and just making sure our voices are heard in this upcoming session.
Absolutely. And Emerson, if anybody wants any more information about the Louisiana Cattlemen's Association, how can they get that?
Yeah, so there's actually several different platforms you can go to. You can go to LouisianaBeefCouncil.org. You can go to LouisianaCattlemen'sAssociation.com, and all of that will have great information, not just on education on where beef comes from, but it'll have recipes on meals you can make for your family.
I got you. And I'm glad we had you on, because beef is something I think that a lot of people take for granted.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And so glad you were here to shed some light on that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You betcha. And we'll be back with the second half hour of Midday after the break.